We are on game number 2 here. The Hobart Phoenix. Glenn, your team list is just down there on the bag if you need it. Starting out the tip-off here, Hargrave wins it and gives it over to Cam Brown. Starting lineup here, Brown, Masunda in what is bound to be a very big matchup. Dwayne Davey, Geordie Hargrave and James Newitt as Brown makes the first massive exclusions here at the moment as we look. No Corey Davey on the sidelines.
Yeah, it's a big loss for Phoenix.
And that will be interesting there. Johannes Peters there. Jordan Stanwick's the big out for the Spartans with an ankle complaint, but I think Corey Davey could be a signed, sealed and changed instance here. That one there off Dwayne Davey. Starting lineups here, Hargrave, Brown, Masunda, Davey and the crayfisherman himself, James Newitt. Meanwhile, Liam Smith, Jack Stanwicks, Johannes Peters, Adrian Peach and that man there, Liam Smith, starting the game for Clarence.
And the other big exclusion tonight's Robbie Inches.
Yes, Robbie Inches not available on nights that the Spartans and Hobart actually play, so you'd have to think that Terry Masunda having to be a big difference here. Stanwick's early with the ball. Liam Smith looks to have a fresh haircut. We'll see whether that affects the game tonight or not. Speaking of haircuts needed, that's Stanwick's. Just needs to hurry up and make a shot. Boyd Heather actually returning as well, Glenn. He's back from hamstring complaints, so potentially wanting to stretch the defence there, not needed, and maybe Boydo can open up even more with his shooting tonight.
Yeah, that's a good inclusion now that he's back, and they've got Jordan Stanwick. He should be back in a few weeks' time, nursing an ankle injury.
James Newitt, the crayfisherman, making a lovely open jumper there. Love that for his confidence. A usual reserve player last year with United, having played a bit of some senior minutes, and now almost a regular now in the Hobart lineup as Marston knocks that one down back to the basket. It's 2-4, and yeah, I think the big storyline out of all of this game though, Glenn, is that man on screen who's just missed that jumper, Terry Masunda, now playing for the Hobart Phoenix.
Yeah, it's going to be a good matchup. You know, everybody, they're all mates off the court, but it'll be good for Jack Stanwick and Liam Smith to come up against Terry, who's a class player, and see if they can slow him down.
As Masunda's missed his first couple there, Cam Brown, the opening basket for the Phoenix. He's going to be pivotal down low tonight as well. Jack Stanwick's now with the ball, looking at isolation on Masunda, a matchup that'll be the last two league MVPs of the SPL. There's a guy who could be competing for it this year in Smith missing there. Beautiful inside out. Masunda was probably looking for the pass there in the end. Andrew Johnson assessed it otherwise, and he'll head to the line for two.
As soon as he heard that whistle, Terry knew to put it up. He was in there anyway, so put it up, 2 shots. Smart play by Terry.
If Andrew Johnson is in the perfect spot there for us to see, no lineup here early for the Phoenix as Masunda makes the first, and that'll be some good confidence for him as we thread the mic through. What do you think is going to be the key here for the Spartans in this game, Glenn?
I think they've just got to get open and utilise, expose the weaknesses. Liam Smith and James Newitt, who does play very good defence. He's got his work cut out, so that's going to be a good matchup. If Liam Smith can get on top of James Newitt, then that's going to be Glenorchy's favour.
That one there tipped away from Hobart. And on the opposite end, you don't want to be relying too much of Terry Masunda in a game like this where you are limited to the one substitution, Luke Brown on the bench there for Hobart. But I mean, what are you looking to do from a Hobart perspective as Smith makes that one there?
I think Geordie Hargrave's back now. He's had a week off, so he's going to have to step up as well.
Geordie actually played last week, Glenn. Just missed the Huskies game. As Stanwick's now with the ball coming down. Got the mismatch there, now guarded by Masunda. That's probably going to be matchup of the night, as we mentioned, and he gets by very easily, up and under, unable to get the finish. Wanted to change hands there. Brown down the floor, loose handle, gives to Hargrave, who's really going to have to put the points in tonight and keep his shirt on, as mentioned last time these two teams played. Thought it necessary to take it off. Speaking of not taking off early at the moment, rebound there by Newitt, but not taking off early is Masunda, who's only got his points at the foul line. He's going to want to do what he can. 2 players hit the deck there. That would be Dwayne Davey and Jack Stanwick. Smith now with the ball. Looking for Stanwick. Gives it to him now. He's over the halfway line. Back to Smith. He's heading inside. Gives it to Peach, who works inside. Misses that. Tried to do a contact. A bit of whinging to the referees. We'll see what goes on there as Masunda goes inside on the steps. Ripped on the drive, and he'll go to the line for 2.
That was a great drive there by Liam Smith. The bigs for Glenorchy have really got to be strong when they get the ball. Don't worry about the defence and really just try and put it in. I think Johannes and Jack Marston have really got to step up,
Just
crash the boards, make sure that when the ball comes out and the hands are ready to catch it.
And the free throw there by Masunda. Despite the limited number of players, that one from Brown tipped away. Despite the limited number of players, only 6, and as you can see, the usual bench there of Saville and Smith. But as you can see, it's a 4-8 game, 8-4 I should say, in favour of the Phoenix. There's that matchup we talked about, Newitt and Smith. Newitt nuggety, always going to chase him round on defence. Great help there by Cam Brown. Smith just a little too long in the arms, able to get that one to fall, and that's something we talked about all year, Glenn, the length that Liam Smith provides on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, and he can really dominate. Oh, that was an easy basket there by Geordie Hargrave. Liam Smith can take anyone in the league now. He's got his confidence up.
There's another drive by Smith. That one tipped away by Newitt, chasing around once again. Substitution. Luke Brown coming in. That looks like Adrian Gusti on the bench there. I wonder whether he's going to have to get some limited minutes into him as Dwayne Davey checks out. As we mentioned, Jordan Stanwick's out of the game this week. He's got an injury concern with his ankle. Meanwhile, Josh Cunningham also not playing. He's on bench duties, so be interesting to see what goes on there. Josh Cocker also not available. Smith inside with the length, takes the contact and one. This one to take it to a 3-point ball game.
The foul was on Geordie Hargrave then, who wasn't sure why it was on him, but he's just been explained the decision of referee Connor Westwood.
Boyd Heather checking in. We haven't seen Boydo for the best part of 4 or 5 weeks. He's had a hamstring complaint, and what sort of impact will someone like Boyd have now? Obviously not having to worry about not having to guard, as we quickly just see Phoenix come down the floor. Luke Brown. His
experience is just going to help Glenorchy so much. They're a lot better team when he does play. He can shoot. He doesn't have to shoot all the time, but he's a reliable shooter.
Are you going to want to stretch the floor with him? Inside, Luke Brown. Big drive, big finish there. Great finish by Luke Brown. Are you going to want to stretch the floor with him, or are you going to look to go inside a bit more with Boydo?
I think with Boyd, he's a mid-range shooter, so anywhere around the key. He doesn't take many 3-point shots these days, purely because he's got Liam Smith and Jack Stanwick, who are the main threats from outside.
There's Boydo outside. Hasn't hit a shot for a few weeks. Again, hasn't been on the floor, but he's missed that one. He's just want to get his touch back a little there. Masunda opposite broadcast side now. Uses the screen action by Brown. Wants to go inside. Pull up for the J. That's good. And I suppose that's why he's Terry Masunda. He can get inside and he's playing at, basically the second best level across Oceania at the moment. 9-12 our score line. And that one is in favour of Hobart. Stanwick's on the isolation dribble. Gets inside on the mid-range. Banks it open. And I don't think I've seen a bank open that late on a Wednesday night without someone getting into it.
No, and he, if he's got any room at all, he's going to finish off. That's too easy.
Just
for
too easy.
Masunda.
No interior defence. Boyd's thrown a touchdown pass to Stanwicks, who's managed to get inside. That one knocked out of bounds. Wanted a call, didn't get it. Substitutions. Connor Smith heading into the game. Adrian Peach heading out there. So running with a smaller lineup here, the Spartans. And we're having a flash. I don't know if you're seeing it, Glenn, flashing at the scoreboard. It'll be interesting to see. Make sure we've got a decent power connection. We don't want the building to go out. I mean, we'll still have light, but I don't think a little spot is going to help this cause.
A nice shot.
Speaking of helping the cause, and we're just getting all these shot clock issues here. I'm not sure what's going on. 14-16 is definitely our score. We'll keep an eye on the power situation. Brown now going inside. Little brother Luke opened the floor up, just unable to make an accurate pass, and that one has gone out of bounds. 14-16, and the Spartans slowly working their way into it.
It's gone again. I'm not real sure what's happening with this scoreboard there.
We're going to want to get that looked at, and I actually think Kelly Ahern coming for a look at the moment. Checking all connections there. We'll soon get an update on that. Meanwhile, Liam Smith, as we mentioned, fresh haircut. Probably going to look to hit that uni special tonight. Tonight only out in Salamanca. Will be interesting to see how that goes. There's Smith on the drive, going inside. He's knocked over Newitt, and that's going to go to the line for 2. I wonder what the call's been there. That's been a rip on the hands by Luke Brown. He doesn't think he's done it.
Good defence by Hewitt then, although the foul was called on Brown first. I think Liam Smith is now taking... That scoreboard's flickering again, so Connor Westwood is a bit concerned about that.
Are we going to pause it? We don't know. No, we're not. We're going to keep going. But yes, Newitt taking the lane there, and probably would have been a certain charge if that foul call hadn't have been called there.
Definitely would have been a charge call.
Screen by Brown high up the court. Basunda working his way inside. High arcing, just a little too high. Hargrave the offensive rebound.
Good defence by Liam Smith again on Terry Masunda, and he needs help as well. If there's a screen, the other Glenorchy players have got to step up and just put a body on Terry just until Lamb can get back onto Terry.
Tipped away by Masunda, not able to recover it though in time as Stanwicks gets inside. Boydo's short corner. Surprised he didn't take that. Better option inside to Johannes Peters, who's proved to be fairly pivotal for the Spartans so far this year, Glenn.
Yeah, you know, I think if he just becomes a bit more consistent, then it will have a massive impact on how far Glenorchy go himself. And
Newitt's big shoulders just unable to hold that one. Timeout has been called, 2:38 remaining, and the Spartans have snuck away to a quick lead here, 18-16. We'll just get a look on the other side of the floor. It's 13-19. Ronnie on his way over. Ronnie, I can only assume that the Southern Wolves have the 19-13 lead.
Yes, that is correct. Roberts and Ellie Collins just dominating, Chobo.
You've come over and seen this one. A big out in Corey Davies so far for the Phoenix. Robbie Inch is always missing these games due to work. What do you, if you're looking at a Spartans perspective, what are you wanting to do to capitalise on those opportunities?
I think that we don't, we try to take advantage where we can. There's certainly 2 good players that are omitted from the Phoenix side. So it's just basically, again, as I said, similar to the last game, they, like Clarence, stick with their structure. If they stick with their structure, they'll be fine. And they know how to move the ball around. They're very good at what they do. So, but I still expect this to be a close game, Chobo.
As we move into the end part of this quarter, comments there from our photographer, Ronald Riggs. And okay, there we go, pumping his own tyres up. Wouldn't say a bad word about his own club. I think we'll leave that one there. It's Connor Smith with the ball. Peanut Gallery can peen off out of here. Wanted a jumper there. Boyd Heather wanted some ball movement. Didn't get it. Gave it to Connor Smith in the corner. That one was chased out by Hargrave. Johannes Peters with the ball. Boyd Heather just wanting to control it here, and we'll see what happens. Liam Smith taking that one. No hesitation. Dwayne Davey just using his smarts there, not necessarily the speed that he once had. Johannes there with a bit of a hold, not called. Inside by Terry off the glass. Good finish. And I think the Phoenix just need to set this game on their own pace here, Glenn.
yeah, if I was Glenorchy, I'd be all I say to Glenorchy is they just need to help each other out in defence. Terry Masunda, if he gets past one, make sure that someone else is going to help out.
Another big rebound there by Dwayne, who's filling in his brother Corey. That one there, a clear foul by Connor. I don't know what Terry was going to attempt there, but that one will be a side ball. Clear foul there on Smith. 18 or 138. This one's been a tight game and probably actually a bit more scrappy than we first anticipated, Glenn. Not as clean as these two sides can be. No,
it's going to be interesting to see if Phoenix are able to maintain this intensity, playing man-to-man the whole game with 6 players.
A lot of rotation there. Almost a no-look touch pass there as Dwayne Davey goes inside for the layup. No good. And I don't think we've seen Dwayne burst through the pack like that in a long time. Speaking of bursting through, there goes Liam Smith down low. Johannes Peters wanting to get the basket, unable, follows up, misses that as well. And Hobart just clearing the ball. They've got to come up to it on Masunda though. They can't risk him to control possession. Boyd Heather now with the outlet to brothers Connor and Liam. Only one set of brothers in this game, looking at 3. Luke Brown, great defence there by Luke Brown, straight up and down. I don't know what Geordie Hargrave's going to try there. Dumps down to Cam Brown, and that's a good finish there, good read of the D.
Yeah, Cam Brown's finishing better than ever this year. His confidence is up, and he's become a real offensive player this year, which is great to see. He's always had the potential, but he's such a team player that not really looked first to shoot.
Foul called on the drive there. Luke Brown again, thinking he's never committed a foul in his life. He's not too sure. All three referees have agreed on 34. He's not too happy about that. As Liam Smith heads to the line, makes that one. It's going to be an interesting night. The Hobart boys certainly can't afford to foul too much in this game.
No, they just don't have any depth on the bench, or they've got 6 players. I'm not sure if Adrian Goosty, aka Pui, is actually playing. I presume he is.
Yeah, they're going to need that sort of offence. Speaking of offence, Geordie Hargraves wanting to provide the spark, unable to get it. Connor Smith, a big battle for the rebound there, well undersized when competing against Luke Brown. Boyd Heather now with the ball. Spartans probably want to slow down and get one shot inside easily by Stanwicks. No foul called. Wanted it, didn't get it, and they're just going to have to slow down here. Masunda with the control of the ball. Former league MVP last season, one of the biggest acquisitions we've seen in season 2019. There's the jumper, it's good. Only 1 second left, and that'll be quarter time as we look there, 22-20 in favour of Hobart. I think that's quarter time on the other side as well, 27-21 in favour of the Southern Wolves there. Only a 6-point ball game, a 2-point ball game here, Glenn. And what have you made of the opening quarter?
Oh, I think it's been a really entertaining first quarter. Terry Masunda has stepped up as he does week in, week out. I think if Glenorchy can contain Terry, not sure if they want to go a box and one or whether they just stick with help defence. I'm sure Brendan Stanwicks will be talking to his team to ask for the other players to step up and help if there's big screens set. Just to switch just for a second, just so then he's not got an open shot. Phoenix are doing really well. Dwayne Davies picked up probably 3 rebounds, so a couple of defensive and offensive that's helped the team. And so has Hewitt?
Yeah, Newitt.
Yeah,
James Newitt.
Yeah, so he's done pretty well so far as well. Here we have AJ just smiling at the camera as he does. Loves the camera.
What have you made of the scrappy contest so far, AJ?
Don't do interviews, JJ.
Did you just answered a question? Counts as an interview. Shout out to David Bowen, who's probably going to see this and just have a nice little chat to you. One of the 30 regular viewers we have.
So far, so good. The first game was ref really well as well. So
I like it. Bring in that.
You can make with that as you wish. I'm not going to say that too loudly. I might get in trouble. Second quarter begins with Saville, Stanwicks, Heather, Marston and Smith. Meanwhile, it's the same squad that finished the first quarter for the Phoenix in Masunda. Speaking of step backs, Stanwicks wanted that, no good. Dwayne Davey once again cleaning up on the glass and doing the dirty work. It's going to be Brown, Masunda, Hargrave.
great defence.
What have we called there?
Offensive foul.
Not even an argument there. They've called the offensive board. Terry Masunda's got no clue. He didn't think it was a charge. But he's not arguing the call though. But
I believe it was just because of the call. It was a late call.
Yeah, late call. Everyone on the same frame of mind on the ref crew there.
So the whistle was blown, but it was who was going to call it more so. Who was in position to call it. So these guys ref at national level, so they don't want to take a call out of the area.
Especially any, don't want to take any chances on a call that could or could not change a game. Jump down pass by Stanwicks. That was a great little wrap around there, and that's brought the game back to a tie ball game. As I mentioned, Stanwicks, Saville, Marston, Heather and Smith starting here in the second quarter. Meanwhile, it's Masunda, Brown, Davey and Hargrave, the same that finished that quarter for Hobart. Offensive rebound of his own shot there to Masunda. Dwayne wanted to take that 3. I've seen him make 1 in his life. I've seen him take 3 in his life. Speaking of 3, there's Masunda. He stretched that one back out and just a bit of back and forth action here to open the quarter.
Yeah, and that's where the Glenorchy players have got to help. If there's a screen set on Liam Smith, someone else has got to step up just to make it hard for Terry Masunda to at least put a hand in front of him. I like the chemistry. The last play down the court between Jack Stanwicks and Liam Smith was really good. They just sort of know where each other is, and I think they need to get the ball to each other and work on that 1-2 play.
Hargrave calling Luke Brown away, wants to go at himself. He's going to really need to spark this offense. That one tipped away by Stanwicks. 8:20 remaining here in the first half. Been a scrappy back and forward affair. Going to look to clean that up as the second half goes on, and that'll be dependent on who's controlling that game. Dump down, Cam Brown fouled.
So an example of what happened then was Jack Stanwicks was screened, but Jack Marston didn't step up to help, so Jack was sort of in no man's land. He ended up fouling Cam Brown. So I think when there's a screen, Glenorchy have really got to work out. You either get through the screen or you double it, whichever way it is. Some people are getting through the screen and helping and others aren't, so they've got to get that defensive structure right.
Got to have that plan set, not just for one but for all. As at the line there was Cam Brown. He's made both, stretched it back out to a 5-point ball game. But one thing the Spartans have up their sleeve is that bench, and that will certainly help them the further this game goes along. One of the first touches from Marston all night. Saville with a cheeky little floater, usually a shooter, but just one of those players that can come off the bench and spark. Speaking of spark, that's inside, and that is too easy. The Spartans will not be happy with that one. Can't give away easy points like that. And speaking of giving away easy ones, inside Masunda, now that will be called a goaltend. You can't slap the board as it's gone up, but I find that a strange. I mean, the rule now is that you can't touch the backboard once the ball's made contact with the rim, but I mean, that one there didn't seem to make any contact, mate.
That didn't go near the ring, so I'm not sure, but that's the rules when it's an attempted shot, I guess.
Inside there by Boydo. Good eye. Saw Dwayne Davey closing out. Back to a 5-point ball game there, so an interesting call there. No doubt someone will look at that, and certainly, hopefully, they clarify me on that one heading into next week. Masunda now with the ball, really controlling things here from the point, and as he needs to, he's the best player, no doubt about it. Brown now goes inside. As we mentioned, he's up his scoring output. That one's a violation. No good there. Cam Brown just reaching around. Violation there. No good. Looking a little sore. Timeout there has been called by Brendan Stanwicks. He's not happy with what he's seen so far in this quarter. Scrappy affair, giving up easy points, 31-26.
Yeah, I think there's some good defensive, there's some good matchups. I think Liam Smith's on Geordie Hargrave and keeping him quiet now. I just feel that with Terry Masunda, with him so quick and the screens that plays are set for him, there's screens all over the place. The bigs have got to step up and not let Terry get past once the screen's there.
Heading into this timeout, obviously the screen's an issue there for the Spartans, but they've seen those couple of quick turnovers there just certainly shifted any momentum they were starting to build. And I mean, it's only early now, but if you're going to be giving those sort of turnovers away, you know, particularly late in the third and early in the fourth, I mean, that can really kill your momentum down the stretch.
Yeah, and I think it was a perfect time to have a timeout. So I think Brendan Stanwicks is drilling his players at the moment just to go back to basics and help each other out. I think Cam Brown's also switched defensively, and he's taking Liam Smith now, who caused a bit of damage in the first quarter. So Phoenix they're realising what they need to do to win this game as well, and they've made the appropriate adjustments.
Brown's gonna need to keep his wits about him and probably play smarter rather than harder on Smith, who's just that little bit quicker than Cam himself.
Well, they've just put Geordie Hargraves on Liam Smith, so.
They've called a holding foul on Dwayne Davey, and I mean, he's not impressed with that one. Shakes the head, just holding Boydo in the post. I don't know what sort of conversation's going on there. I don't think Boyd's phased at the fact that they've managed to maintain possession there, but just under 7 minutes. Sorry about that. 7 minutes remaining in this first half. Ball kicked to Saville now, and really worried about the perimeter here, the Spartans. They need to create themselves an inside offence just to mix things up a bit. Speaking of mixing things up a bit, that'll be a Stanwicks miss. We're not used to that. And there's a Marston follow-through.
If you have a look at Phoenix's defence, you've got Terry Masunda on Jack Stanwicks. However, he's also got another defensive player just sagging behind in case Jack gets past Terry.
Great little cut there by Luke Brown, unable to get the finish. Second chance I should say, from Hargrave, quickly down the floor. As you were saying, sorry, Glenn?
The defensive help from Phoenix is really good at the moment. So they're not allowing, if Jack Stanwicks gets past his player, which is Terry, Phoenix are actually helping out in defence, so Jack can't go any further without a man on him. So they're doing a good job defensively, Phoenix.
Dwayne Davey with the ball, probably looking to score here, and I mean, he's probably going to need to score a few points. Casual couple of elbows there within the flow of the offence, easy to get away with. Dump down to Luke Brown, drives inside, good finish. And he's a good young player, Luke Brown, just recently selected the under-16 state team, as noted on Facebook, so certainly going places with his basketball.
Yeah, he had a good Nationals last year, bottom age, so he's promising. The family are obviously all really good at basketball, and any sport that involves the ball. Older brother Ben is a superstar of the AFL, and Cam Brown is a very serviceable NBL 1 player.
Yes, well, as you mentioned, Ben, one of the key forwards, if not one of the best forwards in the AFL from the square. Meanwhile, Cam, as you mentioned, a perennial defensive player in the NBL 1. Dwayne Davey with a sky hook, yet to hit the scoreboard outside of that layup there. So he's going to want to look to hit the board. It's back to still at 5 points, I should say. And again, no momentum, sort of a scrappy affair, but one team is going to want to look to gain the advantage heading into half-time. Liam Smith wants to put that on his shoulders, unable to do it. Hargrave, very late reaction by both players to get there, and Brown has just missed that ball there.
And I think Liam Smith realised then that he didn't follow his shot, so he might have got a bit of a bump as well then. But yeah, both he and Geordie didn't really, they just sort of stood there. So if you have your shot, make sure you follow it.
Connor Smith and James Newitt checking in. They're going to match up directly, so we'll see how that one goes. Connor able to move off the ball just like his brother Liam. And James certainly needing to play that defence there. As Stanwick's on the far side, pushed into a corner, dribbles out of that. Good swing movement. Liam Smith, they're going to have to get busy. 2 seconds, jacks it up. Nothing but net in the wrong sense. And that'll be a violation.
I just think that 24, I don't think Glenorchy realised how many seconds they'd used to their 24-second clock then, or their 14-second clock. I think it'd be good if Liam Smith actually just took Geordie Hargrave to the basket, made him play hard D, and then as Liam penetrates and it opens up into other players, Liam's really hard to stop.
Cam Brown, not a known shooter, and that's probably why. He's missed that one. Shepherd given, and they both attack the ball there, Smith and Newitt, taken away by the Spartans. Stanwick's flying down the floor on the opposite side. He's going to look for almost an isolation play. Kicks inside to Marston, kicks back out to Connor Smith. He's looking for some ball movement, can't get any help. Didn't waste a dribble though, which is surprising. 10 seconds, Liam Smith getting to work early, makes it off the glass, and again, just coming to the front here, Smith with the stretch that he can provide on the offensive end.
His points production this year is really good. It's going up. I'm not sure what he'd be averaging, maybe around 20 a game. And I think by the end of the season, it's going to be more than that.
Newey with that shot. The crayfishman unable to make that offensive rebound, not there. He wanted that second option. Goes inside, a lovely little runner by James Newitt, unable to get it. Hunting for rebounds there, battles hard.
A lot of contact
and they've
there.
called the foul on him. That's a bit of a wrestle for the ball. But good hustle there by Newitt. I mean, that's the intent they're going to need from this squad if they're going to have a chance heading down the stretch, particularly as their legs tire.
Yeah, and Geordie Hargrave got bumped in the middle there. He thought there was a foul. It probably looked like it. However, the ball was away from him, so the referee didn't see it.
Yeah, very hard to call sort of an off-ball action when you've got so much happening on the ball. That one, a bit of a foul being called there. Foul on number 23. I think they've actually called that one on Hargrave himself. So that will be 2 free throws to Smith.
That's a great drive by Smith. Like, you know, he knows that he can beat people off the dribble, and it's just a matter of him getting the confidence and taking it to the basket every time. If he can't score or get his shot off, he's actually making the defense move, and he's going to create an open shot for someone else. So it's good to see. It's good to see the guards each game that are in the Huskies program really having a massive impact in this league.
Masunda with the no look. Connor Smith wanted to get it from behind as Hargrave grabs his head, wanted an and one, didn't get it. But it's almost a 2-man game here at the moment for the Spartans between Smith and Jack Stanwick, so it'll be interesting to see how that changes. Good defence there by Newitt, unable to stop a drive like that, but should be a 2-point ball game. It's not though. Dumped down to Newitt, needed more ball movement and gets it. Masunda now with the ball, guarded by Connor Smith. That's a task for the young man. Wanted the foul, didn't get it. Slight clip on the hip, not paid. It is only a 2-point ball game. Inside.
Oh, that's a great play. Great drive by Jack Stanwick. Very aggressive. Terry Masunda thought he got fouled by Connor Smith down this end.
Yeah, just a slight bit of contact. Timeout called.
And Terry doesn't say too much to referees either, so he asks a question. he doesn't make a big deal about it, but he said, can you watch it next time?
Yeah, Dwayne Davey just asking a question there of the referees as well. That will send Stanwicks to the line for 2 to tie this game. 2:21 remaining, and it is only a 2-point lead to Hobart, 37-35. Meanwhile, on the opposite floor, starting to blow out a little bit over there, 44-31. But good to see Clarence still in it as much as it can be. As we can see, that's Isabella Crespin over there with the grey tracksuit and the white jacket. The white jacket, I should say, talking to Kylie McCauley in the blue hoodie, who again, she's unfortunately done her ACL, so that'll see her miss the rest of this year, and certainly you'd be looking at least half of next year, if not all of next year as well, which again is a big blow for a Phoenix organisation who seems to be bleeding some pretty good young talent lately.
Yeah, they've got, like, there's Kylie McCauley out, there's Isabel, there's also Ambrose has done his knee as well, so Phoenix at the moment, injury-wise, have been pretty unlucky for some key players in their program.
As we have a look here, 2:21 remaining, and with the game having been scrappy for most of this quarter, how would either of these sides want to calm it down and get it back on their terms, just to close it out and gain a bit of momentum here in this essentially the last 2.5 minutes of the game?
I think for Phoenix it's really important that they don't get rattled and get upset by the referees' calls now. They're starting to, but you don't want to make it where it changes the way they play by, they've got to concentrate on the game.
Stanwicks makes the first.
And Liam Smith's really come on in this second quarter offensively. It could have been a bit of a push in the back there that he got away with. Cameron Brown and his opponent had a bit of a smile about it.
Connor Smith goes inside, kicks out to Liam, now back to Jack. Inside to Adrian Peach, and he'll do a bit of screen work. Nearly gave it away, uses the screen again. Stanwicks with a fadeaway jumper, had no chance of going in. That's one's cleaned up again by Dwayne Davey, who's been big on the glass so far.
Yeah, he's certainly playing his role. Well, that's an offensive foul.
Another offensive foul in almost an identical spot there for Masunda, and I feel that's just a little bit of frustration building up. That will be their 5th foul. That was their offensive foul.
Team control, so no shots.
So that was an offensive foul, although it is 5 team fouls. They've moved that actually up to number 6, so they've actually only had 4 defensive team fouls, 2 offensive this quarter, as we mentioned. As Connor Smith goes to put the Spartans ahead, unable to make it. Big rebound by Hargrave. It is 1 point, 37-36. And we'll just see how this one pans out. Masunda in control. He's going to have to contain his foul count there. That would have to be 2 or 3 on him heading into half-time. Newitt spreading the floor, taking the jumper, no good. He'll want to capitalise on those open looks, but not a bad shot regardless. Inside to Davey, dumps down to Newitt, goes inside. Good finish. Good eyes by Dwayne Davey, who's really playing that extra role tonight.
Yeah, that was a great pass. The defence probably could have collapsed a bit more and not allowed it to happen, but Dwayne Davey used his smarts and got his teammate open. 2 shots for Connor Smith.
Newitt only just grazing him, gives him a bit of a tap there, but momentum certainly causing that foul. And Newitt, again, a quick player and doesn't mind it playing a bit of defence. And I mean, yeah, just bustling those wide shoulders through if he can. Not much you can do there. Connor Smith wanting to put 2 in from here, unable to make the first. And I mean, how much does it kill you though? Just a momentum thing like this, Glenn, where 2 free throws would be so pivotal, but you waste the first.
Yeah, hopefully he gets the second one. He's a bit disappointed with himself, obviously.
Probably overshot that one after falling short. And this gives the Phoenix a chance to get 5 points up. Rushed into the dribble there, Newitt, but just calms himself down. That's a great pass and a good attempt at the rebound. Fighting again for the ball.
Newitt is really put his body on the line.
That's the sort of hustle you need. Inside easily. Newitt up and under and unable to get the score there. Just undersized.
Very unlucky not to get a call there, I think.
Yeah, really worked his way inside. And again, just one of the shorter players of the comp. It's a bit hard to get that contact inside. Johannes Peter spins off the screen, not used. 3-pointer, Stanwicks, count it. How many times have we said that?
That's a great play. Come off the screen. Good teamwork. Connor Smith and James Newitt actually remind me of each other. Defence is more important than anything. So every team's sort of got one of these players and they'll always give their all. Defensively, like Cameron Brown, you need these players that aren't worried about scoring, but they're worried about giving the ball to their teammates and doing the hardjacker.
I think Dwayne Davey actually thought there's a foul call there at some point, which there wasn't. Ball given to Newitt now on the inbound. He's been forced near baseline, works his way through again. 8 seconds remaining. Masunda got to get busy. 5 seconds, guarded by Connor Smith, forcing him outside. Got to give it to Hargrave. Gets inside, just gets that one off, makes it 2 seconds, and that'll be half time. That's a good effort as Connor Smith just throws that one, no basket.
And that's a nice character builder for Geordie Hargrave, who hasn't got a whole heap of points, but that was a nice shot.
Hargrave, one of the 50-50 scorers in the league, either the best player on the floor or can sometimes prove a bit more costly than he would like. Again, 41-39 in favour of Hobart at half-time. They're looking good, but certainly have to be wary of the limited legs they have. Meanwhile, half-time on the other side sees the game blown out now, 52-33. We'd have to say that one's all over Red Rover. Meanwhile, back to where we are, Glenn, and some good hustle play there from Hobart is probably what's kept them in this game in the first half.
Yeah, no, their defence has been really good. Like, you know, it's hard to contain Liam Smith. I don't know if they've got somebody who can contain Liam Smith when Terry Masunda's trying to slow down Jack Stamwick. So, but they've got help defence as well, which is a big thing. It's just a matter of whether they've got enough legs to go the second half with only 6 players.
We mentioned about the Spartans trying to stick to a little bit of structure. It does seem like a lot of two-man game at the moment, just rotating between Smith and Stanwick. Who do you think needs to get involved a little bit more from a Spartans perspective, just to stretch the Hobart defence a little bit more, and, you know, putting them on the back foot, you know, will probably help them going into the third to tire them out early.
Yeah, and as Boyd Heather gets back into the rhythm of things, I think he probably gave a few passes up that he normally shoots, so that's just because he's been out of the game for a few weeks. It'd be good if Marston and Johannes Peters, it's really important that they finish off when they get passes inside. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they make the hard shots and then they miss ones that generally you'd expect them to make, so it's consistency for the big fellas. But I think their offence is looking good. When Jack Stamps is coming off screens, he's getting open. He doesn't need much space, and he can knock them down. So it's and Liam Smith, I think I'd probably try and clear it out a bit more for Liam and let him go one-on-one, because he goes left to right, and no one's stopping him at the moment in this league. He's really.
He's really starting to go to that next level.
Yeah, he is, and it's a training he does. You know, he's training with the Huskies and playing with the Huskies as well. I'm surprised he doesn't get more minutes in the Huskies. However, they've got their squad and they do what they do. So, but I believe that the next few years, the locals are going to really step up, and Liam Smith and Jack Stamwick are going to be. They'll probably be in the NZ League in a few years if they keep going the way they're going.
That one's a big turnover there. Oh no, we've already got some miscommunication there. Everyone except Jordan knew what he was meant to do. And I think the viewers at home and probably anyone else that watches that on playback won't be surprised at that result. Meanwhile, second half underway as Masunda just unable to get to that ball, a fraction of a second late. Tipped away by Masunda. That one there, big hit. One there by Peters, probably trying to knock some sense into him on behalf of his opposition. But just one thing I wanted to mention, how pivotal is how pivotal are going to be Dwayne Davey and James Newitt going to be in this second half, just with their hustle play and their defensive effort?
Well, they've definitely done everything that's been asked of them in the first half. Even screens like that, Newitt's not looking to shoot yet. He's done pretty well offensively. But they're trying to get the players open.
Newitt works his way inside, possible dump down option, foul on the floor. No, he stepped out of bounds, unfortunately, there. Meanwhile, as we have a look, second half, as we said, underway, 41-39, and probably the biggest crowd we've had overnight, certainly here. The Kings with a bye, so not as many Kingston or Kingborough people in the arena, but a few players floating around due to their reserves team. Coming off a screen, Stanwick's for three, no good. Called that before. Offensive rebound by Peach. Went to go inside, and they've called the Hargrave foul there. Not happy. Andrew Johnson not taking any of it. He's just walked away after the call. Fair enough too.
Jack Stamwick is getting open when he's coming off screens. So whoever's setting the screens is setting good screens. Jack's getting open. He missed that shot, but he's hit a few already tonight.
Good strip there by Davey, again on the inside. Him and Newitt certainly been underrated in the focus of this game for Hobart. As we mentioned, Luke Brown on the bench, and starting lineups have returned here. Other than, I apologise, no, not starting lineups. Johannes Peters here, Marston still on the bench. Wanted a carry, late call by Connor Smith, but is called. Even Smitty knows he nearly got away with that. Even Dwayne, just a bit of a wry smile.
It looked good though, he almost got away with it.
Yes, well, the ball nearly went through the net by the time they called it, which would have been an interesting decision to make there, but nonetheless, Masunda inside with the hesitation. Hewitt wanting to capitalise on the three, and does.
Now that's the plays that do hurt, like, you know, they're now focusing so much on Terry Masunda that...
But Smith needs to, and
comes.
responds.
He's a good little player, Connor Smith. He does his role for the team. Defensive, a lot more defensively, but he can hit those open jumpers, and he's going to be another great player in the future.
He's really started to lift in the last 12 months, as we mentioned, most of the season. Hargrave just going a fraction of a second early for the rebound there, unable to get it. The carry man there to his brother, Connor, wants to go inside there. Liam does, misses, offensive rebound, going back up, strong defence. Brown, Peach offensive rebound, no good. He's hit the deck. Liam Smith will get to that soon. They need to get to the ball. Terry, no call there, but a big offensive rebound, and James Newitt certainly having an impact to start this third quarter.
He's playing a great game. He'd be very happy with his performance thus far. He just picks up, it's just the 1%ers that he's picking up. There's a nice backdoor play, although it didn't quite come off, but...
Unable to get the finish there on the drive as Johannes Peters heads out. Boyd Heather checking back in.
Phoenix just keep this 4-point lead, like they just can't seem to get it back.
Yeah, Phoenix also, though, will probably want to... Newitt's on fire, needed to make that, unfortunately didn't. And he needs to turn around and get on D as Masunda sends the ball into the lap of Glenn Fairfield.
He was too old and slow to grab it.
At least he's on a still quick with the wit, however, and that's why we've got him as special comments, as we've got some of the Kings girls off to the side. I've tried to get them to come for special comments.
That's a dunk.
They're not really looking. A major inside pass there. Nearly flew into the rim, Liam Smith. Collapsed the defence there, Stanwicks. Brown gets out of the way. Inside, Liam Smith. There's that length we talked about.
That's a great drive, and that no one can stop that. He almost switches the ball from his right hand to his left hand in the air.
There's Terry, needs to start making jumpers. That's a good way to do it.
And he had defence on him, so that was just a tough shot.
Using a lot of using the screens well, might I add. Terry Masunda able to use that lateral movement and just get the job done. Inside to Boydo, no. Outside to his brother Liam. Liam using isolation. Again, using that length. Great defence there by Masunda.
There's a lot of contact there too.
What's that, sorry?
It looks like there's a lot of contact, but they're letting it go both ways, which is really good from the ref's perspective. And the players, they're not whinging about any calls, so it's in that aspect, it's really good.
Here we go, as we have a young fan just poked through. He's made his way on camera. Boydo going to have to get the shot up. He's not going to force that. He's throwing a skyhook. No good. Did that hit the rim? They've called it. And they've called the foul on Adrian Peach. Things just getting a little physical between Peach and Hargrave. We'll see how that goes. We've got, as I mentioned, got the Kings girls off to the side, so it'll be interesting to see. They were going to try and make special comment. Not happening. Kelly Ahern racing by. Not on camera. She'd have stood up. I don't think she'd have been there either. Hargrave on the ball. Couldn't walk any faster, I don't think, Kelly Ahern. So
something's happened over there.
Yeah, clearly walking with intent. We'll try and get an update there if we can. Masunda now with Smith. This has been a great battle all night. Dwayne Davies just rolled. Inside pass. Newitt, he's worked hard all night. That's his 7th point of the quarter. And he's really been the difference, I'd have to say, other than Masunda in this quarter. He's been able to make those little baskets and make the right cuts and just throw the Spartans right off their D, Glenn.
Yeah, I just think that I'm not sure what's happening with the defence. If there's any switch defence happening down the baseline here. There's another quick basket for Phoenix. Nice pass for Terry Masunda to Cam Brown.
Back and forth action so far here in the third quarter. 53-46. Hobart in the lead. Thought they might be taking the win here tonight. Didn't necessarily think it was going to be in a game like this. Marston catches it easy on the low block. Probably wanted to go to work a little earlier. Gets there eventually. Smith with the ball inside. Newitt with a steal. Great tip away there by the clay fisherman himself. Look for Newitt to go inside. Will do. Dumps under. Good play there. Oh, Cam Brown needed to finish that. That was great by Newitt. Unfortunately not able to get the result as Smith worked his way inside. He's only going against Davey. But Davey manages to get the rebound, cleaning the glass once again. And again, we're down on this 2-on-3 scenario in favour of Hobart. They've just slowed up a little bit. Inside, Newitt with the ball. He's going to run a little floater in and Well, it was only little. It didn't even get above the rim. He really needed to try and score that. Unable to do so.
So the floaters are great when they go in, but when they miss, it's not a good look.
Yeah, they're sort of an ugly shot, certainly not conventional. Boydo flicks to Marston, needs to capitalise, does, and as you mentioned, Glenn, people like Marston and Peters and Peach get their opportunities, particularly down the stretch, they're going to have to make them.
Yeah, and that's a great shot there by Jack Marston. Good confidence builder for him.
Crayfishman passes off to Brother Brown.
And very good defence as well. Really made Cam Brown change his shot and work hard. 3 on 2.
Boydo for the long 2, foot on the inside, that'll count. And that's just a bit of momentum. They wanted to know why a timeout hadn't been called. Dwayne Davey almost in disgust there, 55-48.
I think the scores are on the wrong side there. I think it might be 53-50.
Yeah, we're just going to have a look at that. No referees heading over. Just quickly as Ronnie's about to join us, it's really blown over there now, 37-70. What do you made of it, Ronnie?
Over there, look, Clarence are trying their best. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Trying their best. Southern Wolves obviously just too good and too tall. Glenorchy on a mini run here at the moment, and really Phoenix down with numbers and not having enough legs. I think that's kind of a telling sign at the moment, wouldn't you think, fellas?
Yeah, that's what we were sort of talking about. If Phoenix, if they're able to sustain 40 minutes of intense basketball like they're doing, they'll win. But as the game goes on, I'm not sure. With 6 players, they're going to struggle. But they've done such a good job so far. They've still got. I'm not sure if Luke Brown, he hasn't come in this quarter as yet. So
I think he was still sitting with foul trouble from the previous. We're just mentioning, Ronnie, how much our West Coast friend James Newett is having an impact on this game.
Yeah, Newett's, from what I've seen so far, Newett's having a good hard crack at it, isn't he? He's playing well at the moment, and he needs to keep at it. He might be the spark or the X factor Phoenix need.
It's good to watch him, James and Connor Smith play, because they've got so much intensity in the defensive end.
Yeah, great back and forth battles so far, and certainly one thing with Newey, much like most West Coasters, he'll give you a run for your money and he'll compete for a full 40 minutes. Ronnie running around with the photos there. 3-point game, 53-50. We'll be seeing his insight there at three-quarter time, no doubt, as we mentioned. Stanwicks with the ball. He's had a quiet third quarter, but he's going to want to just do a little bit. Boyd Heather inside. I don't think a penetration dribble's been in Boyd's arsenal for quite a few years now. We will see Masunda. He will kick to Hargrave. He'll go inside. Kicks to Masunda again. Probably not the pass they needed. And I think they've near muffed that possession. They've been able to save it. Very loose, scrappy affair there. 3 and a bit minutes remaining. 3.5 minutes. That's a turnover. As Masunda's going to have to keep an eye on that one. Dwayne Davey just getting out of the way. Managed to force a turnover. Will clear the ball now. They're just going to slow up here a bit, Phoenix. And what do you reckon, Glenn? Maybe play the game at their pace and really run through their structures thoroughly to, especially if they're going to be running out of legs with substitutions.
Yeah. I think Glenorchy now they're starting to run a lot more and make the defence really tire them out. That was a great play. Obviously, just down court before with Liam Smith stealing off Kerry and then missing the layup. But they've got to take it at Phoenix. Wear Phoenix out.
Marston really needed to make that shot and control the ball. Fortunately enough, they've regathered possession. Stanwicks long way out. And surprisingly enough, the Stanwicks too far out. Substitution, Luke Brown checking back into the game. James Newett heading out for what has been a well-earned rest. Certainly been probably the player of the quarter for the Phoenix for my liking so far.
He just does a hard yard. The plays that he's been involved in have really lifted Phoenix. So I mean, he needed a break. He really used all the energy he had. So he'll be able to come. I think he's going to the toilet probably to grab a drink or to
take a leak. I believe that's his girlfriend, Dimmy Jane, sitting up there on the laptop. She's also another one, as we mentioned, for that Hobart squat, Glenn. She was best in finals last year and unfortunately did her Achilles before State League last year. So another player who the Hobart women have on the side that certainly would be making a big difference.
Yeah, she's a good little player. You're exactly right. She did play really well last year. So the injuries, it's just
haven't been friendly to the Hobart squad.
Geordie Hargrave just made 2 foul shots and took the lead back out to 5 again.
That's been an interesting game again. They get to that 5-6 point lead, but they can't quite push double digits here, Hobart, and they're really going to have to try and do that. Good intensity on D by Luke Brown, as you saw down the barrel there. Kicks over to Smith, and He's actually stepped out of bounds, so that's uncharacteristic. And again, Hobart, if they can get to a 10-point lead here, Glenn, will certainly feel a bit more comfortable going into the fourth, even with dying legs.
Yeah, and I think with Phoenix having a few out, Robbie Inches, Corey Davis, the main players, the other guys have got to step up. So it gives them a good opportunity. And sometimes it's hard to play against teams when they're down a player or two, because they all, they sort of just, someone else would stand up for them. So
Stanwick's looking here. The basket was fouled. He'll go to the line for two, and I wonder whether that one's on Masunda. It is. That has to be his third or fourth. So he's going to definitely his third. The two offensive and the one. Can we see what they said on the bench?
I think it's his third.
No,
foul.
it's his third. Yeah, Gusty just signalling third there. But I mean, that's one thing that he's going to have to be careful too. If he's out there guarding the Smiths and the Stanwicks of the world with this game going late, he can't risk to foul out, because I mean, as much as Newart's had a great third quarter, the X factor in this game is going to be Terry Masunda.
Yeah, I'd be if I whoever it was, whether it's Connor Smith or Liam Smith or Jack Stanwicks that has Terry Masunda on them now. When they're on offense, I'd be taking the ball straight at Terry and hoping that he picks up another foul.
Big basket there. That extends it out to 8 points now, following the one of two free throws. Marston outside, needs to stretch, doesn't. Smith with the ball to his brother Connor. Connor for three, no good. Rebound by Davey, who has played a really unsung role tonight. He'd have to be in double-digit boards.
He'd certainly be close to it. And, and again, this screen here just allows Terry Masunda to get open.
Just a lot of good ball action. And that one there is an
foul.
offensive foul by Hargrave. He's not happy. Not happy with that at all. And the crowd's just letting young Hargrave know about it, as the ball's come back over this way. And yes, another offensive foul there. And that's one thing I think that's probably hurting Hobart a little bit there, actually, is those offensive fouls. Those offensive fouls have probably cost them, 8-9 points tonight.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many fouls Geordie's got, but he's going to have a rest, so he must have at least 3 fouls.
And certainly a player they can't afford. There's a nice inside by Stanwicks. Wanted the call, didn't get it.
That's beautiful play from Glenorchy. They know that Terry's he's in foul trouble, so Jack Stanwicks took it straight at him, and Jack Stanwicks is one of the best finishers in the game down in Tasmania.
One thing that they certainly can't risk, I know Terry's in trouble, as that's too easy to inside there by Cam Brown to stretch that lead back out to 8. But one thing that Hobart can't afford, although Terry might have foul trouble, you can't afford Geordie to have foul trouble either, because he's essentially been the second option tonight.
Yeah, no, I think he's got to play smart now, and hopefully he can stay on the court for the remainder of the game.
Connor Smith looking for a bit of action to his brother, does. He drags almost a double team. Smith going to have to take that. Does. Long. No good. Boydo wanting to take the ball from Brown. And only one shot remaining as they've called. What are you looking for here, Glenn?
Oh, Terry Masunda, I think, will probably take a drive. He'll go one-on-one, clear out.
Got to get to work.
And not allow Glenorchy to have a shot.
Terry, no good. No tip either. They've bashed that away. And at three-quarter time, it's 61-53. And one scrappy couple of quarters we've seen so far, Glenn.
Yeah, and I think that last play there was a good play, although the shot didn't go down. Terry knew that he didn't want to let Glenorchy have an opportunity to get another shot, so it worked for them. The shot didn't go, but it's going to be a good quarter.
83-43 on the opposite floor. That one pretty much over. Ronnie, from what you've seen here, what do you think is going to be the key factor in the last quarter?
I think Phoenix need to just slow it down and play it at their terms. I mean, if you allow Glenorchy to drive to the bucket, like, the last couple of times they allowed Jack Stanwicks just to go on his left and just dominate that weak side, I mean, it could be well game over. I think so. Phoenix, I could see they're barking out some instructions there. They just got to slow the tempo down, get through their sets, and then just show the experience that they've had for so many years, and just try to claw back in this game.
What are you thinking from a Spartan's perspective here?
They've got to get a couple of stops quick, and they want to work. They want to get down to about 5 points after the first 3 or 4 minutes. Just slowly, not try to rush it. Just gradually get that lead back. Tighten up on their D. They know Terry Masunda's got 3 fouls. I imagine Geordie Hargrave's got at least 3 fouls as well, because he's sitting again. So really get it into Jack Stanwicks and Liam Smith and get them to go one-on-one and draw some fouls.
big quarters required from the big defensive four there. You can see of Hobart in the Brown brothers, Dwayne Davey and James Newitt. Meanwhile, these two here on the screen, Connor Smith and Jack Stanwick's looking for big offensive finishes. Final quarter, 90... Sorry, I've read that wrong, 61-53. Settle down, Ronnie. I don't pick you up on your mistakes, brother.
There we go.
Certainly a foul. They're not liking the call there. No basket called. That one paid on James Newitt. He hasn't really reacted. He's just really scrapping away there. 61-53, 9:47, not 94-7.
And that's a tough gig for James Newitt. Like, you know, he's normally a Div 2 player and comes off the bench, and he's playing a pivotal role here to try and keep Liam Smith down in the offensive end, and Liam Smith has been on fire this season, so tough gig.
As Ronnie takes his change back from the water bottle, that one's fallen short again, and that one there over the back, that one there on Peach.
That was indeed, just give him a clip around the head.
That one there on Peach, and he's also going to be in probably some foul trouble too. That was his fourth, as signalled there by bench operator Jared Elphinstone. I don't think they're too concerned though, Jack Marston and Boyd Heather, to come in, but you certainly can't afford Peach, who is a capable rebounder on this squad, to, you know, be out, particularly when you're limited on your rotations with Cunningham and Stanwicks, not Jordan Stanwicks, I should say, not playing.
Yeah, I think with Boyd Heather and Jack Marston out there, if someone does get in foul trouble, they've still got a couple of bigs. Luke Brown has been called every time he's gone near it. That's his third foul, and he still can't believe that any of them have been called. So I think he might need to look at the tape and work out what he's doing wrong so it doesn't happen next week. Definitely
a third foul there, and he hasn't actually agreed with a single call tonight. I don't know if you've seen him nod in agreement with ones that have gone to his team, but any on him certainly haven't occurred. Hargrave having a long, hard think, wonder whether it's about conveyancing. He's soon to come in there. Offensive foul there. That's a back-to-back foul on Peach, and that will be him out of the game. That's his fifth. If I'm not mistaken, yep. That's 5 fouls on Adrian Peach. He's out of the game. So that's going to see Boyd Heather and Jack Marston reel most of the load here on the boards. Johannes Peters has had a quiet game, Glenn. He's going to really have to lift at this point too.
Yeah. And like with that foul there from Peach, like, you know, he didn't need to do it. So you've got to really think smart. You're going to set a screen. You don't want to make a referee. You know, if it's a 50-50, you get out of there. You don't make it a referee's choice. So, like, you know, it was a costly turnover. Especially, although that... Oh, that's a violation. If Phoenix had scored off that one, it would have been a super costly turnover. However, they're lucky that they didn't, so...
Still 53-61, so we are certainly looking at trying to... You know, the Spartans really want to get into this game, but they're just not able to do anything. That one there's a reaching foul on Masunda, and he can't believe it. They've called a bit of a hand check there. That'll be his fourth. Oh no, is that his third? No, that is definitely his fourth. So Masunda fouls again. Yeah. He knows. Someone on the broadcast side here, not sure. I think they call him AOS, just reminding him that that is definitely his fourth foul. Not a bad move. We can't have players like Thierry out of the game. But bringing him back into the game for the Spartans is Stanwicks with that shot. He's been relatively quiet by his standards the last month, and he's really going to want to have a big fourth quarter to boost chances. 61-55.
Yeah, and he's, you know, Jack Stanwicks has the best player on him each week, you know, because of his ability. So, like, you know, he has to make tough shots. He has to take tough shots. And he's a confidence player, and you know he's hit a few big shots today, and you know, he's got a great opponent on him, and he's I think it's a pretty evenly matched.
Dwayne, you're right, okay,
it's a pretty evenly matched one-on-one contest between those two. Although Terry started off early well, I think Jack's starting to get his own back.
Luke Brown with a nice big three there, finally got something running his way. As we can see the game now back out to 8 points, 55-63 in favour of Hobart. Dwayne Davey just took himself to the bench. Luke Brown, having forced that ball loose, gets it inside, no one to collect it. Newitt with the ball down the court. Hargrave really working, going inside again, gives to Hargrave, fouled and one. And that's just great momentum there from Hobart, really just flying down the court. And I mean, I wouldn't have expected when you looked at these lineups starting the game, Glenn, that we'd be looking at a 10-point buffer here in the fourth quarter.
No, and once again, that teamwork, Terry Masunda is able to attract the defence, and you know, as long as he's got his offensive teammates, getting open, he's getting them the ball. So that was a good one there.
Biggest margin of the game now, 11 points, and it's going to be a hell of a fight here for the Spartans to try and get back into it. They've injected Saville. They want some shooting power as well. Liam Smith screen. Good defence there by Hobart. Stanwick's now guarded by the nuggety Newert, and he's forced the miss there. Not a bad effort, if I can say so myself. Cam Brown cleaning up the boards, and that 4-foul man, Masunda, controlling the ball, cannot risk any more contact the rest of this fourth quarter.
No, Kiri's just going to play the smart role now, I reckon.
That one there on the body, that one was on the floor. Definitely on Liam Smith. Interesting to note what he's got. Question asked by Bull, who I'd like to kindly thank, has provided me with a Spartans hoodie. I've been asking for different hoodies from different clubs if they're having a sook about me wearing another ones. Inside Cam Brown, good vision there by Masunda, and they've now thoroughly got this game under control, Glenn.
Yeah, and so the defence is on Kiri, although some of the other players for the Spartans aren't following their own man, so that's getting players open because a few of them are ball watching. It's happened on a few occasions. I think Liam Smith has done a pretty good job on Kiri. However, he hasn't had the help from some of the bigs in his team.
Brownie just heard a cow behind him, not able to get it. Great drive down the floor, but again, probably just needs to settle down in that situation.
He had a bit of a rush of blood then, didn't he?
Needs to probably have his teammates talk a little bit too. Oh, Stanwick Smith handles the ball, still able to get that to fall. It's back to a 11-point ball game.
That was a nice pass from Boyd Heather and a good finish after a bit of a fumble from Jack Stanwick. Jack Stanwick is just as good with his right hand as he is with his strong left hand.
A lot of people not rating that left hand, and unfortunately it proves costly to them at times as Masunda finishes the basket there. He's set on defence. Inside, and that one there, a push by Johannes has pushed him again. Hargrave just firing up a little bit. And I wonder whether that's a little bit of a tactic here from the Spartans, just to try and throw Hargrave off his game a little bit and try and gain the upper hand, Glenn.
Yeah, it was the referees could have probably warded Johannes Peters then, so it was a solid bump, but then after the whistle was blown, he did him another one. So Geordie wasn't happy, but he didn't let it get to him either.
13-point ball game, still rebound by Saville. And the Spartans need to get a move along here, almost halfway through this last quarter. Smith with that speed, past Newitt, great finish. Not much you can do there.
And I think Liam Smith probably hasn't been scoring as much in the second half.
Hasn't forced his offence, so to speak.
Yeah, so hopefully he can, the next 5 minutes, he can, like as I say, there's not too many players that can stop Liam. He's just got to get the ball and do his thing.
As Hargrave mishandles that one, a bit of cheek there, I must say, to Johannes. So interesting how this one could pan out. I wonder whether Peters just plays a bit more of a mental game. An 11-point ball game there. That foul on Newitt, he's not too sure why. And again, just another decision that Luke Brown doesn't agree with. Newitt just biting the tongue there a little bit. And Dwayne Davey asking the question of Connor Westwood. Unable to get anything. What have we got here?
Just trying to see if there's 2 shots or not. It's 14,000 Phoenix. I think there was a bit of a discrepancy in the 24-second clock then to reset to 24 after the foul.
Yeah, I think the question being too about whether it was 5 defensive fouls, but an offensive foul on Hargrave certainly changed that one. Bit of a reach there by Stanwick, not called. Masunda inside, forcing the offence. That's why he's one of the best players in the game.
He just makes his own space. He takes an extra step in, then steps back. He's got a nice little jump shot from inside the key.
Really utilises that rocker step.
Yeah, he can shoot. He trains hard, works hard in the gym, and it pays off.
Knew it there. They've drawn that.
That should have been a blocking foul. Yeah, good call. I thought that would have been.
And that is 2 shots there. Substitution. And that's actually 5 fouls on James Newitt. So not only now Newitt going to the bench, I'm surprised Newitt had 5 there. Glenn, I thought he played really well and managed to keep it clean. But now the real factor coming into that is that there's now no substitution replacement unless Pui's going to jump on the floor. So this could actually be dangerous for Hobart, although having the 13-point lead.
Yeah, it's surprising it's still 13. You think it gets close, and then Phoenix just keep coming back. Kieran Masunda's got a couple of big ones, but Hewitt's got the last couple of fouls there.
Southern Wolves hit the century
because he played
mark
good
too on
D.
the other court, so just to let you know.
Thank you for that, Ronald. Passing comments there. The cricket ton having been put up on the other side. Thank God it's not a metric ton. We'd be in some serious trouble there. 72-61. It's an 11-point ball game, and there's the man that's made an 11-point ball game. Not that guy, Thierry Masunda. He's been a big factor here, and I mean he's playing with foul trouble as well. He fouls here. There's no one to cover him. Speaking of no coverage, Daniel Sowell's just grabbed that cleanly. Cam Brown with the ball. And they're going to have to really press up here, the Spartans. Now to a 13-point lead. Connor Smith looking to check into the game.
You know, I think all the Phoenix players have played really good roles. Like, Terry Masunda, since he's got 4 fouls, he hasn't had to shoot everything. He's got teammates that are all stepping up. Dwayne Davies got a number of boards at the right time. That's it. Unlucky.
Brown needed to follow that, didn't. Fortunately got it back in time on Johannes. A bit of spirit coming into this game now. They can sense some foul issues. Gives it to Saville. He's a known shooter. He's open. He's dropped it.
Team. And that's very good teamwork. You know, Liam Smith, through the defence, he knows Daniel is on his own. He knows he can knock him down. So I think they need more of that.
Inside to Hargrave. Bit of a shuffle. Nothing paid, but no one's paid attention to him on the baseline. Wants to work in. Wanted the foul, didn't get it. No score.
Over
Goes
the back.
Yeah, no over the back call there. And that one there is offensive. A hook. A hook, in fact, called on Peters. Brown was a little worried there. He's going to get called. Timeout called by Black there. 10-point ball game. That's 5 fouls each. That should send him to... Will that send him to the line? No, that was an offensive foul, so that will not send them to the line.
And it would have just been a standard foul on the Phoenix player had Johannes not have hooked him. There was probably not a need to hook him in that instance. But you know, he did it. The referees were 2 refs were there, and Connor Westwood was directly in front of us, so I would have called it as well if I was umpiring the game.
What a stand-up citizen, Ronald Riggs, returning the ball to where it needs to be. Quickly on the other side, Ronnie said the century's come up. Geez, it's 53 points now, 1-10-57. Just over 2 minutes remaining, and that's another basket there, just way too easy. So 55-point ball game over there. Ronald, 2:55 remaining. You're now down to no rotations from Phoenix. James Newitt having fouled out. What sort of effort do the Spartans need to give here?
They need to keep attacking. They really do. Keep being aggressive, and you know, wear these Phoenix guys down. I mean, they're a little bit tired now, a little bit more slower. You know, look for them to keep attacking, being aggressive.
From another point of view, Glenn, if you're Hobart, you're realising you've got no rotations, you're realising you've got players in foul trouble. How conservatively do you try and play defence in order, conservatively do you play to not only stop points but still be able to score on the other end?
Yeah, I think you can contain a player without, you can still play aggressively in defence. Like Terry Masunda is not, like he knows he's got 4 fouls, he's still doing his defensive job, although he's just not putting himself in a position for a referee to call a foul on him.
As Terry's barged his way inside there, that'll be a foul. Drawing the content, he'll go to the line there, and again, as we mentioned, just able to not only create his own space but certainly create his own shot, create the offence and make the most of it there. 2:51 remaining as we see a guy who is capable of winning an MVP in half a season. Let's not get that wrong. If there's anyone that can do it, it's him, and he's been their best player, no doubt about it, in the 2 games he's played already. Probably their best player tonight as well. Missed that one. Luke Brown, offensive rebound, and that's a good grab for the young man. Dwayne Davey, he's played well tonight as well. Just over 3 minutes remaining. You can hear Pui from the bench calling the shot clock. Hargrave jumps into that and makes the basket, and I'll tell you what, that's a big shot that could very much end this game here. Marston down the floor, they realise they've got foul trouble and they're going to have to do something about it. Connor Smith just inside, just quick enough. Didn't get any contact, got his own offensive rebound, went to pass out to Stanwicks, unable to get it, cleaned up by Dwayne Davey, and they just need to settle down the Spartans.
And sometimes, you just have one of those games where things don't go right. So, Phoenix have played a great game with the talent that they've got on the floor. Without Corey Davey and Robbie Inches, as we spoke about, all the other guys have stepped up. Unfortunately for Glenorchy, not every player has played their best game. So
William Smith in transition for the 3, no good. Had Johannes as the rebounder, got it. Luke Brown being very careful not to give away a foul. There's Peters there tipping away a loose ball. Back to a 12-point ball game here, 66-68. We've got a little square out the scoreboard. Just on the 6, we'll pick up that a little later. Meanwhile, Dwayne Davey inside to Cam Brown. Hasn't seen much scoring action tonight. Hasn't run much offence. He's gone inside. Good post up, good finish, and that's exactly what he's capable of.
Yeah, he's played a good game. I'm not sure how many points he's got, but just good defence, good teamwork.
Played almost his role he plays with the Huskies, that defensive anchor who's just able to put a couple of points in here or there when you need it. Rebound there by Hargrave. And I tell you what, 66 to 80, I'd say this one's over.
I think it's over. I think the nail in the coffin was when Geordie Hargrave come off and hit that three-point shot at the top of the key. I think that just really gave not much hope to Glenorchy.
Dwayne Davey, that falling jump shot has missed, but he's got to be pretty happy with efforts tonight defensively here. Dwayne, a massive factor here for the Spartans.
Yeah, I think that's
sorry for the Phoenix, I apologise. Just like that there, good hustle getting the steal.
I think that's the first shot Dwayne's actually taken tonight, from what I can remember.
Yeah, no, I'd be with you there. He's just managed to play his role and frustrate. They're going to dribble this ball out here. Bit of pressure from the Spartans. Hargrave's going to go inside, wants the big finish, gets the layup. That's all she wrote. The Spartans are going to probably put one shot up here. That'll be a dribble out, and that's essentially all she wrote, Glenn. And a pretty decent display, I must say. Connor Smith's going to take that. No good. Phoenix get the rebound, and I don't know whether Hargrave's going to head down the floor. Surely not. Just gets it over the timeline. 8 seconds remaining. No one's going near him. And I can sense he's going to take this. It would be against Geordie not to. Yeah, he will.
No, he won't.
You watch.
You don't take
Told
it.
you he would. He's missed that. Told you. I'm not shocked. It was always going to happen. Final score, 82-66.